Well, good morning. It is Sunday. This is Coffee. I'm Guido. You're you, and this must be Coffee Talk. Welcome back, guys. It's Sunday, last day of holiday ops. Sad face, right? Sad face. This is the last day. It'll be over. It's all over, folks, tomorrow. So take a look at your Christmas garage. And we're actually there's a video about that from Wargaming. We're going to take a look at that. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. Next week's going to be a pretty heavy World of Tanks week for me because the House General is headed out to a convention. All right, so we don't we don't want to celebrate. All right, but we do want to note that there's going to be some freedom of movement involved when that happens. Anyway, so the point of that is I am going to have a few streams next week. That'll be cool. Definitely on Wednesday, and I'm looking at Tuesday night to start off, but Wednesday's the day off, so Wednesday day, potentially Wednesday night and Thursday night. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe not Thursday night. I'm probably at the pub on Thursday night. But anyway, channel news. What we got going on? I talked about in the next stream. Oh, Tier 10 Scouts, guys. Tier 10. Wow. I have learned a lot about the game with my Tier 10 Scouts. But we're going to check something here, which is pretty interesting. You see I've got the Panzerwagen guy right here. You know, this is supposed to be the worst Tier 10 Scout in the game. At least it's one of the ones that is vying as a candidate. The Sheridan, I think, is the other one people would say. But I got a 60% in this bad boy at 80 games or so. Sheridan at 48. T100 at 53. I'm about 50 games or more with most of these. 60% on the 13105. I like that one. 52% on the WZ132, which I like, but struggles big time. I'm not playing the Manticore because I'm already over 100 battles, and I'm also over 100 on the EBR. And the EBR, anyway, is a complete cancer and pox on the game. Have I mentioned that before? A pox, a cancer. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that because otherwise I'll get upset and cry. So we're going to go to the Hall of Fame because I want to show you how I've done in these things because I have played them quite a bit this month over the last 3 weeks or so. And of course, we always have to, I don't know if yours does this, but when I try to go to the Hall of Fame, it always fails once, which I don't get. Another thing that's interesting about this is the Brit light tanks are not in this yet. Now this is a beta, and it's been beta for 3 years. I've mentioned it before. I don't get it, guys. Wargaming, I don't know. Why haven't you fixed this? Removed it from beta, improved it. Why do tanks take 6 months sometimes to get put in here? I cannot figure that one out. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the light tanks. You can see that I'm number 2 in the RHM Panzer with only a 3,432 WTR, which is bad. That's bad. Now, to be fair, number 1 is actually playing it very well, much better than me at 5,000. Now, that's the kind of number you would generally see with most tanks at most tiers to be filling up the top 20. And look at this. Number 16 has a 1,397. Wow. Wow. That opened my eyes. Now, I knew kind of what was going on here, that these things were kind of bad in the game. But I was unaware of how. It gets worse. But let's look at the Sheridan. Sheridan, I'm sitting at number 8 with 3,500. And the top guys are in a respectable 1 through 3. That's starting to look right, especially 1 and 2, 48, 55. Not bad, not bad. So I'm doing okay in the Sheridan. I'm 17 in the 13105, kind of crummy. Way down here at 17 with 34. And you can see that actually, and this is a more popular and probably better light tank, the top 10 are actually respectable numbers. Now these are tanks that are doing well in their games and are having a definite impact. Me down here at 34 is kind of random, to be quite honest. But once you get into the high 400s, 500s and above, yep. So that tank is definitely doing okay as a light tank. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's got that auto loader on it. And when it swings to combat capability, it has some capability because of the auto loader. The things that are just more or less pure scouts, not so much. Now, this is the one that cracked me up. The WZ I mentioned earlier, I'm at 2,210 on that one. Now, I need 7 more battles to get rank. You need 30 for the month. Let's click on that and see, though, if I continue with 2,200, where will I be? Oh, my goodness gracious. I'd be number 5 with a 2,000. Holy cow. And the T100 LT, where would I be? Well, that one also is a decent and popular tank. Why? Because it swings to combat much better than the rest of them. That's why the T100 LT is a better light tank. Is that where we want to be? We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I just wanted to show those results because I thought they were kind of interesting. Now, I've only played this one 5 times, so I've got a long ways. Maybe I can bring that up. I hope I can, because that's a little bit embarrassing, actually, to be that low on that one. Oh, look at the Hawk 12. That's right. That's just from stream stuff, 5,000 or so. All right, so I just wanted to show that. Let's move on. All right, well, other news, not related to World of Tanks, actually channel news. I finally got sorted out with DCS, Digital Combat Simulator, and I got my joystick set up, and I got my throttle quadrant. Probably yelling into the mic as I lean over. Got my throttle quadrant working, my stick working. I got my VR Oculus working as well. And yesterday I was flying around with the F-15 content that I have for DCS. So expect some DCS content coming pretty soon. Working on a project with another Air Force guy on that. It's very interesting, actually, how that works. So finally, we sat down for about 2 hours yesterday and just nugged it out. And so I got a lot of learning. Got started setting up on the HOTAS on the switches, trying to figure all that out. So very, very interesting. Very, very cool capability. I haven't even begun to dig into it yet. So expect more DCS content. What I want to do is I need to try to see how well OBS records while I'm using the VR. I think it's going to be kind of wonky because it's just all it's going to show is where my view is. So it's going to be a lot of stuff flying around, but we'll see what happens, and I'll put a video or two out for you guys pretty soon on how that is going. If any of you guys are doing DCS, let me know, and maybe you can help me out, or we can start doing some flying together. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's move on to missions and specials. Missions and specials. Let's see here. We need to hold on. Doody-doo. Boy, I am a little slow this morning, folks. Celebrated the wife's birthday last night, and while it is dry January, last night was not. So here's to coffee. It's 8:30. Usually I'm already creating the edit by now, but we're gonna pile through it. All right, we're gonna do our best here. Missions and specials. What is going on? Well, lots of stuff actually. We've got the next wave of tank mastery. So remember, those are all codes that you have to activate. So go down there and do your activation if you're worried about it. It is second wave LTG P43 M103 and the Stug Aufs G. It is Alexander Hamilton weekend. That's they had to name it something, I guess. January 11th is the birth date of one of America's founding fathers, Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton. Well, there you go. It's a ×2 crew XP. Now is that getting political? It's interesting you said that, Guido, because we're going to have a little interesting sidebar about that later. Just hold on, though, because it's pretty funny. I'm still laughing about it. Anyway, Alexander Hamilton weekend, ×2 crew. Win a battle, get ×2 on your crew. Awesome. Probably what you're really more interested in. 50% credit discount on standard equipment, guys. So get out there and buy that equipment for those tanks that you need it for. The nice thing about this is it does kind of store credits. So if you buy a bunch of these and then down the road you decide you need some credits and you're going to sell some equipment back, the ones that you bought for half price, you're getting the exact same amount back. That's kind of the same thing with consumables there. So go ahead and do that. You're only going to be able to do it through tonight. So it looks like tomorrow morning. Correct, on the 13th it stops. So it's just this weekend. Very good. Alexander Hamilton, the store. Excuse me. Anybody bought any wargaming stuff? There's an actual store. If you are a creative, and you have put something in to the Forge, which is where you can models, pictures, videos, things that are creative about World of Tanks, and they usually have. There's the Forge winners if you want to click that, but they're going to do another contest. So if you've won one of these things, you're in the running, I believe, for being first, second, or third over the year. Honorable mention. Maybe that means there's going to be several honorable mentions. I didn't look at the whole details. But you could get an Object 703. And second place, this was funny terminology to me, a Tier 6 premium vehicle of our choice. Our, meaning Wargaming's choice, or ours, the winner, we, meaning your choice? I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. But anyway, someone's choosing. No idea who, but somebody's choosing. 171 is coming, guys. 171 is coming. We'll talk about that later on, because we're only doing specials and missions. I wanted you to know that Holiday Ops vehicle bonus is being expanded or extended to the 28th. And before you get too excited, I don't think that means the credit thing. When I first heard that, I went, oh, fantastic. Plus 50% credits until the 28th. Cha-ching. No, not so much. Hold the horses. I'm 99.9% sure it's not the credit bonus. It's this thing down here. I'll have to move this. Can I make this happen? Clicky, clicky. This guy. See the little blue thing that I just uncovered? That thing, the little credit or XP or whatever it is that you, depending on the vehicle, obviously, whatever the bonus is, that's the thing that's being extended, which is cool. You'll notice I have 2 vacant slots. I really haven't taken advantage of that very much, to be honest, but it is a good deal. It is actually a fantastical good deal. All right. So the bonus is extending. Hey, where's the black market? What do you guys think's going on there? Was that just a diversionary tactic? Was that part of the deception plan going in, or and I don't have any essay on this. This is total random speculation by Guido. I'm wondering if on Monday or soon after we're going to get a black market because of all the credits that people had theoretically built up over Holiday Ops by using the 50% bonus. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that would be a good way for them to manage their economy. So let's see what happens. Let's just start that rumor. Let's start Guido's rumor that the black market starts on Monday. All right. If it does, it's been pretty super secret because we haven't heard a pip. So more than likely that's not happening. But we'll see. We'll see. So those are all the mission items I believe I wanted to talk about here, and we can go to the client next. Let me see. Vehicle bonus, Holiday Ops. Yep. Okie dokie. Oh my gosh. I hate it when I do that. Woo! All right. Anyway, I should edit that out, but I'm not going to. I'm just not going to. I'm going to leave it in there. Let's go over to the client. All right. Well, what do the missions look like in here? New Year Bustle. This is the last day for this. These will be the boxes. So this Sunday, today and tonight's the last time you can knock out some of the boxes down there. Actually, we'll go back and take a look at where I am on that. Tank Mastery. That's what I just talked about. P-43, Stug, blah, blah, blah. Watt Salute is still going on. These are the veteran missions. When do these end? Oh, never mind. I saw it. It's right there. 1 April. Wow, that goes on for a while. So Watt Salute is semi-permanent. It would appreciate and appear to be semi-permanent. Alexander Hamilton. Are we saying something when they celebrate the Secretary of the Treasury? Is that a is that a wargaming? Is that a little mention or a little tie-in to? I don't know. E100. I don't even know where I'm going with that, so let's just ignore it. E100 on track. E100 on track. That's pretty cool. That's a good line. So lots of good stuff there. Lima is still up. We must be. Nope, we're not getting close. I think we're getting close to Kilo. LM. No, Mike. Yeah, Kilo was before. I should know my alphabet. So Mike should be next. That is still going on. Player tank class right. That's always good for extra goodies. Tank rewards. Remember, guys, tank rewards is still going on. As a matter of fact, it goes to the 26th. You still have, well, it's not 14 because the 26 doesn't count. You still have 13 days. So that's 1,300 points if you just played a game. So you're still in pretty good shape. There are some extra points to be had. I'm at about 1,900. Because I get the veteran extra 100, that's actually really good for the guys with the veteran thing. So I'm going to finish that pretty easily. Then you can do the Russian refund on your M10 if you own one and get some credits and then get rewarded the M10. You know what I'm worried about on that? I'm worried about the day that they finally stop that from happening, and you sell the thing and you get nothing. I mean, I don't know how that would work if they could do that potentially, but I feel like one day I'm going to try that. I'm going to get caught out, and I'm not going to get the tank. The tank will just be gone. That's what I'm always worried about when I do things like that. All right, other missions is the standard ×5s and other things that you get. And then, of course, the premium missions are the premium missions. Not a bunch going on, guys. We're kind of in this holding pattern. Remember that on the 16th, Clan Wars was going to start. So that's the next big thing. They're going to run the Clan Wars for about 10 days, 10, 14, something like that. And then people can get all their overpowered chieftains and 907s and crap. Personally, I have decided not to do it. I don't have the time. And frankly, it's not that compelling as far as gameplay goes for me. And sitting around waiting for some guy to put me on the team or not, and then tell me what to do for 3 hours, probably makes me want to. So I have decided against that one. All right. Let's move on to subjects du jour. Oh, I wanted to show you where I was with this. Where is it? How do I get in there? Someone help me. All right, there we go. Look at this. Check it out. How many shards do I have? Oh my gosh. Should we break these together? How many shards am I going to get from breaking all the ones that I have? Where is it? 40,000. 40,380 shards. Useless. Completely useless. I now have 59,940 shards. Oh boy. Make sure, so that, oh that's right, that's the reason I wanted to do that. Today's the day, guys, to break everything you've got, use your anti-duplicator dude, and make sure you get to level 5, or festive level 10, and then make sure you fill as many of your albums as you can here. Remember, you've got to scroll to find all of them. Some of these have more than just the items on the page, right? I scroll down and there's another one hiding down there, and that happens on all of them. I have finished all mine, but today is the day. My recommendation is, if you don't have the last year's done, to fill those up first. The good news for the 2018 and 19 albums, is that what it is? 18, 19, 20? Is you don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of filling it in. It just tells you a base number of shards to complete them. So you can just go ahead and knock that out and then get into here. Make sure you use this. Use up all your anti-duplicator charges today. I recommend using them on tier 5 decorations, the anti-duplicators, because those are the ones you don't want to get duplicates of because they cost so much. And then just start filling these bad boys in. So remember to do it today, or you're going to be a bit bummed on Monday if you had planned on doing it some other day. All right, that is it. Let's move on to subjects du jour. All right, patch 171 is coming, and it is coming in hot, actually. The plan is this week or next week? Maybe it's next week. It's fast. It's going to super test. It's only going to super test for a week or 10 days or 5, or it's something very short, as I recall. But what we're getting are 2 things. It's not a very big patch, but the double barrel shotgun tanks are coming, all right, the tech tree line. You got the IS-2-2 at tier 8. You got the IS-3-2 at tier 9, and the ST-1-2 at tier 10. So obviously they took a 7, 8, and 9 tank, jumped them up a tier, added an extra barrel and some other things, and that's what we've got as far as it's like a mini tech tree. Remember, it comes off of the KB3. The speculation was the XP was around 120,000, somewhere between 100 and 130 are all the best guesses I saw. I read somewhere, and I can't find it right now, somebody saying it was 53,000 on the super test. Not the public test, but the super test. Did I say super test early? I think it's public test. I meant to say that they're in super test right now. So I don't know if that's a placeholder. That seems really low to me. I have about 120, 130,000 sitting on my KB3. So if you haven't done that and you're planning on unlocking the IS-2, IS-2-2? Is it? Or, yeah, IS-2-2. The 2-2. If you're planning on unlocking that one at the very beginning of it, then from the KB3, I would recommend have 100, 120, because I don't think 53 is right. If it is, that would surprise me a bit, but you never know. You never know what those crazy World of Tanks developers are going to do over there. I think my plan with these is I'm going to unlock the tank, and I might actually grind the IS-22 at tier 8 with the double 85 millimeter cannons just to see what that's like. Just to see what that's like. Usually what I do is I unlock the tank, unlock all the modules, and then grind to the next tank. But because of all the times 5s and everything that you have to benefit on the grind, I'm kind of curious how fast I can blast through it with all these extra bonuses. I haven't really done that in the recent past, so we're going to check that out. You can watch the pain of Guido grinding a stock IS-22 at tier 8. We'll see how long it lasts. I'll probably get too angry and have to move on. But that's the plan. Okay. Interesting thing happened on the way to playing the wargaming game. We got a bot farm closed. I've mentioned that a couple times. The players that I mentioned, well, they've been closed. So I put it again in the Discord, and there was some talk about some other issues that other CCs were seeing, particularly rigging 3 marks on chieftains by a clan. I'm going to actually leave the clan out of it. You guys probably know who it is. It's a clan that I have had very negative interactions with, although a couple of the CCs belong to it, and they're fantastic. So it's like anything. It's like anything. There's good and bad people. They come and go. Clans come and go, so you can't just target one clan, but except that's what I'm doing, right? Hey, I am nothing if not aware of my hypocrisy, all right? I'm just saying, I've had some extremely negative interactions with them, and the fact that players from that place are rigging 3 marks is super irritating, and they're not the only ones. Let's not get crazy. It's not one clan. People are doing it. So basically what they're doing is they're going to the South American server where there's hardly anyone playing. They're going late at night when there's even fewer players playing, and they're sync dropping in platoons into tier 10 battles with Mouses on one side and chieftains on the other. And because they're platoons, they're going to try to separate them, and because there's a very low population, that's pretty high percentage chance you're going to get on the same battle, right? Because you sync drop, you just hit play at the same time. And the Mouses are going parking, and the chieftains are driving up and farming the Mouses. Ugh. What is the purpose of that? Right? So that is a rhetorical question. Obviously, the purpose is to put my pretty 3 marks. But when you're a person doing that, how sad are you? What? First of all, it's a pixel tank game. You might say, well, Guido, don't get mad at that. It's a pixel tank game. Well, yeah, that's not really the point. The point is it's a pixel tank game. Why are you rigging marks as if you're some kind of great player when you're farming Mouses? That so stupid. So stupid. And the other thing we've seen quite a bit of are these. Actually, I should find it. Maybe I'll find it later. But there's an ad out there for people who will play your account in Clan Wars and guarantee you one of these Clan Wars tanks. The one I saw, $300 for some dude or girl, I suppose, person, let's put it that way, to play your Clan Wars, play your account in Clan Wars, and get you one of these reward tanks. $300. Holy cow! Not even close. I mean, I'm one of those people that I say it all the time. Your discretionary funds and your money is yours. Well, I don't give 2 hoots what you do with it. But for me, looking at that, going 300. Even if I had a whole bunch of money laying around, doesn't 300 seem extremely high for one tier 10 tank? I suppose some people paid 300 just to get a 703 version 2, actually, but that's none of my business. We really got off on a tangent there. Where were we? Bot farm closed. So sanctions for those riggers? I don't know. That's hard, man. I mean, we, as community contributors and as players sending in tickets, we're doing our best to kind of keep wargaming appraised of it. I talked about it last week. There's a lot that goes into it. If you had infinite resources and personnel, obviously you'd catch them all and you'd sanction them, but they don't. So how many get caught? I don't know. They don't tell us. Why don't they tell us? Because they can't really. You know what I mean? It's just a mess. Basically, it's human nature. There are jag-offs everywhere, and jag-offs are going to jag off. That's what they do. So, at least in the case of the bot farm that I found, they've been nuked. So I don't know, man. I think it's just something that you have to try to keep at a certain level, so it's below the noise level. But lately I've seen it creeping above the radar return level right there. So right the ground noise, all of a sudden we're starting to see those blips up there, and it's kind of a thing right now for some reason, which I don't quite understand. I think the good news here is that it is a thing, and the game's popular enough that people are still doing that. I think that if we got to a point where nobody was interested in trying to do all these nefarious things to get tanks and rewards and things, we probably have a dead game. So I don't know. Take the good with the bad, guys. Take the good with the bad. I'm not supporting it in any way, but there's a lot of ways to look at stuff, isn't there? Okay, so bot farm closed. We're done with that. Hamilton weekend, we talked about that. 50% equipment. The patch we talked about 171. 53,000 seems low to me. Clan Wars starts on 16 January for you guys that are doing it. I already mentioned I've decided not to. I just don't. It doesn't appeal to me, man. And for people it does appeal to, great. I hope you guys have a good time. I hope you have a good campaign, and I hope you get the rewards and things you're after. Good on you. But man, just every time I think about it, I'm like, yeah, let's give that a shot and we'll do some content. And then I think, no, let's not expose ourselves to that kind of pain. All right, Tier 10 heavy gameplay. I touched on it a little bit earlier. Oh man, what to say about it? There's a lot. There's a lot there. You can see I've got the Panzer RHM there. I have played almost nothing other than on stream where you guys have your requests. Almost nothing other than Tier 10 light tanks, and it has been, what's the word? It has gone from painful to extremely fun because light tanks are hard to play, and if you play them well, you get a good feeling off of it, right? You have a good game, you do well in a light tank, you're like, awesome, that was fun. But at Tier 10, it is spectacularly difficult to do so. What I have learned, a couple things. Number one, aggressive scout tactics at Tier 10, especially if it's a pure Tier 10 battle. If you're top tier in a Tier 10 light tank, there's a little bit more maneuver room on the maps. There's a little bit more ability to be more aggressive and try to control the game. But at pure Tier 10, in a Tier 10 light tank, anything other than the EBR 105 Cancer Mobile, it is nearly impossible to play aggressive and to control the battle early. Virtually impossible. There are some maps and some places that you can get to where you can create some havoc. A couple maps have pretty good bushes. Guess what? Everyone at Tier 10 knows where that bush is, just about. I have been nuked and blind shot out of more passive scouting bushes while I've been doing this than I can remember my whole career, to be honest, in this game. Mostly because I'm playing over and over the light tanks. It's probably happened quite a bit to me in the past, but because I haven't been at Tier 10 doing it in a consistent manner or all in a row, I hadn't noticed it quite as much. But wow, everyone knows where those bushes are. So that's one thing I've learned, is that being aggressive in a Tier 10 scout's very, very difficult. The bar for what is a good light tank game at Tier 10 is pretty low because they just aren't great. They aren't great. And the problem there is related to the fact that they can't be aggressive in the scouting role, or not as aggressive in the scouting role. They really have to kind of be extremely super uber careful until mid to late game, where they then become a force multiplier. But it is very difficult early on, and especially on some maps where you really don't have a role or a purpose because of the channelization, or it's a small city map or whatever, other than being a really crappy medium with a little bit more mobility. And that's unfortunate, and because it exposes at the top end of the game, at supposed the end game content, which I disagree with, but that's another subject. The end game content, where all of a sudden all of the game mechanics and things that made light tanks, especially in the game for me in general, but light tanks in regards to this discussion, interesting, break down at Tier 10 and no longer exist because everyone's got so much vision. Everyone's got so much accuracy. Everyone hits so hard, which brings me to one thing that's super annoying with these tanks is getting deleted by Arty and FV 4005s, FV 214s, JPZs, blah, blah, blah. All these uber shot things happens constantly. It's amazing. Miserable Monday tomorrow is going to have just a few of the greatest hits But yeah, I have been deleted. And when I say, people say one shot, not necessarily. Sometimes you've taken one hit, so you're down a few hit points. And some of them have been one shot. I got a 1600 one shot from a Hesh round from a 4005 in, I believe, this tank right here, maybe the Sheridan. But yeah, it's rough. There, I used the yeah. That one's going to take some time for me to kill. I have to kill that affectation with fire. The whole yeah. So I'll just use so. so anyway, yeah. So I think the coffee's kicking in, guys. Well, it's definitely kicking in. I'm starting to feel it. Feeling a lot better now, a lot better. We are moving along in Coffee Talk. Tier 10 Scouts, guys. If you want a challenge that is mixed in with a double helping of pain, I suggest you play a lot of Tier 10 Scouts. But I've learned a lot about Tier 10 as well. I think it's been a bit of a situation where it has confirmed my ideas about Tier 10. It's not like I don't have any Tier 10 gameplay. It's just not a large percentage of my total. So I don't spend a lot of time at Tier 10. But playing the light tanks has taught me a whole bunch about it. A whole bunch about it. All right. It's kind of a mess up there, guys. It really is. Where are we? Oh, okay. So let's get into some of the comedy here. First things first. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, this is over on... where are we? Status report. So Rita's joint over here. And we got developer diaries. Developer diaries. So this is...
And enjoy the festive atmosphere. Would you like to know how snow maidens appeared in the game?
No. Okay, fair. To be fair, I can just not watch the video. But I always love these. Do I want to know how snow maidens... Not particularly.
And what they looked like in the beginning, or how many kittens there are in the holiday garage, or which Polish army member became a prototype for a holiday decoration. Get yourself a warm drink and make yourself comfortable. Let's start from the beginning.
All right, I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing. It's not bad. It is some background stuff about holiday ops, but for me, the larger picture of this whole discussion, there's like 2 or 3 minutes of them talking about the cats in the garage and how they showed the finished product or the near finished product to the team, and somebody said, well, where's the cats? And they're like, oh, well, we didn't use them because they have a low poly count and they don't look very good. And I'm looking at this garage and I'm thinking, everything has a kind of low poly count. I mean, look at this guy. And I can't even really get close to him anyway. I mean, even if I go up here, to the dudes eating, that's as close as I can get. And there's the cat. I can't even see the poly count on the... it's not blocky. And that's assuming that even matters. Now, there's a cat I can see that's even closer, but because of the way the camera moves, I can't even really get close enough to see the kitty. And the larger point is, they made a video about how much effort it took to do holiday ops, which I do appreciate that it's here and it's cool and the deals were good and it was a lot of fun. But there's always this, with these videos, there's always this kind of background idea that, man, all this is just so difficult, and we have to advertise how hard we're working on this. And man, you guys are just lucky we got it done and got some cats in there, man. I think that's another great example of the cultural thing, right? I think in general, the North American audience looks at all that and goes, I don't really care about how hard it was. I honestly don't. It's interesting, and if you're a developer and you're in the business, it's probably a kind of interesting behind the scenes look at things, but the average player doesn't give 2 kittens. So just to further that a little bit, and it's going to tie in directly to the next thing we're going to talk about, is there's a lot of things that need to be worked on in this game. And we keep getting told that, wow, we're really stretched thin and our people are, working, pedaling hard, and we got to get some more people working on this, that, and the other. And I'm sat here looking at this big video we made for Holiday Ops, which clearly spent a lot of people spent a lot of time on. And I'm wondering, well, how come they weren't working on some updates? You know what I mean? So I get it, man. That's easy to say when you're the outsider looking in. It's always easy to throw grenades and say, yeah, you bunch of goobers, you're doing it wrong, all that stuff. But it's not really necessarily that. For me, it's the image, right? It's the perception of what they're doing and what they're spending their time on. And just in the back of my mind, I'm just kind of sat here thinking, it looks like it's a little bit, it looks like the priorities are a little bit off, at least from where I'm sitting. If you're going to claim that you are pedaling fast and you need time to do these fixes that we really have been needing, right? Nerfs, the ammo upgrades, all these things. If you're claiming that those are hard to do because you just need time and you resources are limited, and then you come out and you say, well, look at all this time we spent on Holiday Ops and putting cats in the in the garage. Doesn't that at some point make you go, wait a minute, how are we messaging this? What's the message, the packaging of our message? And you have to go, it's not right. It's not quite right, dude. All right, which now brings me to, I think, probably my favorite thing this week. And it's not my favorite because I love what is going on. It's my favorite because I cannot believe that it's all right. The more I think about it, the more absolutely gobsmacked I am. All right, you ready for it, guys? This is fantastic. This might get me in trouble. Maybe. It depends on how mocking I get with this. But let's see if Guido can keep this on an even keel and just make commentary on what should or should not be involved in a video game and messaging and packaging for companies, especially international companies. All right, you ready for this? Here we go. I just want this to sink in for you guys here for a minute. All right, let me read the headline. All right, just gather, just soak that in. This is the lowest hanging fruit I think I've ever been served up on my webisode, and it is so ripe for absolute destruction. But I'm just gonna comment, hopefully, if I can contain myself, on being gobsmacked that Wargaming allowed this to happen. Not that they allowed him to do whatever he wants to in his life, politically noted, but that this is now connected to their company. Dude, this is gross. This is so bad. Now, what I do in other parts of my life away from this channel or my career is supposed to be separate. A big dog hair right here. I just found it. It's supposed, we try to keep it separate, but the fact is that if my face is doing that, and that there is a connection, and now we've got a blog, a gaming blog, and clearly there's nothing in here that says Wargaming supports this. Let me just get that up front. I would be fascinated to know what discussions are happening right now that this article has gone out. This is a third-party website. This is about him just what he believes, and I go for it, dude. I got it, noted. It's another country, has nothing to do necessarily with the one I live in. and I'm going to leave the ideology of this out of it. What I agree with, what I don't, doesn't matter. Here has nothing to do with me commenting on a video game, but holy crap. It's kind of interesting from a sociological and political standpoint, so I do recommend it. If you're interested in that kind of thing, give it a read. It obviously has to do with Russian politics and whatnot, but wow. Like I said, I wasn't gonna comment on the pros or cons of his stances or ideas, but now we've basically got Makarov, World of Tanks product director. There's the tie. Decides to create a political party. Goodness gracious! Remember that commercial where they had there's the Reese's commercial, I think, right? You got your peanut butter in my chocolate. No, you got your chocolate in my peanut butter. I'm like, you got your politics in my tanks. You know, bro Cephas, bro. I don't know, man. So why I think that's actually tied into the silly little video about the holiday ops is, does it not feel like we're losing focus here, guys? You know what I mean? It feels like everything's now just kind of the Wild West, and there's little to no control over the direction. We missed Halloween because we couldn't put that together. We really spent a lot of time on cats. There was another thing talking about a 2D. There was a problem with it, not a problem, but somebody had suggested a 2D camo. I think it's the one with the tangerines, which frankly to me is the worst one of the lot, but they were really excited about it, and I think somebody put it out last year on the forum, said here you go, but they couldn't quite turn the corner. So there's a big discussion in that video about how they made it happen this year, which, okay, is it just me, or do we seem to be losing focus on developing a tank game to the best of our ability? Now, I'm using the R word. I do that. It's not as if I am part of the company. I am not, and I have very little say. Perhaps infinitesimally more than some, but probably not. But as a commenter on the passing scene, that's when I say our focus. It's just I play the game. I'm very interested in it. That kind of stuff. Noted once again that it is just a bloody video game, and if it disappeared tomorrow, that nobody would really be the worse for it. Although I guess your pocketbook, if you just spent $300 to get a 703 version 2, would be a little irritated with you, or maybe your wife. I don't know, girlfriend, significant other, dog, cat. Probably the low polygon cat is going to be pissed off that you spent that much money. But anyway, I loved that. Not because I loved it, but I loved it. You know what I mean? I suggest you read it. I think I have a general idea of most of my community's views on things. I'm sure it does run the gamut. So you may agree or not agree with some of the things he comes up with. It's worth a read because it is kind of interesting. We get into the translation issue with that particular article. So some of the stuff sounds a little wonky, but I kind of got the gist of what he's getting at. I don't even know how to wrap that section up just to say, holy crap. I'm just going to leave it with that. Holy crap. Oh, all right. That is pretty much it, guys. Thanks for coming by. I'm just about halfway through my second cup. We're going to wrap this up. I'll edit it, get it out to y'all. I hope you have a good weekend, rest of your weekend. Football games were crap yesterday. Weren't they? Why is it that wild card weekend is so good, usually, and this weekend is so bad? These are usually romple stomps on this weekend. I think it's because when you get past the upper crust echelon, you start talking about the wild cards and the third seed. Is it conference? Not conference. Division. Yeah. Third seed division champs. Those are usually guys that are on the kind of the same par, and they fight like cats and dogs to make it the next level. But they've played a game, they're beat up, they're not really at that top tier level anyway, and they tend to get stomped on by the 1 and 2 seeds. Not all the time, but it does happen quite a bit. So anyway, hopefully the games today are going to be better. So enjoy the football games or the soccer or whatever it is you're doing. Enjoy some tanks. I will see you on. I should see. Oh, I might see you actually later today. I might stream later today. We'll see. I'm going to work on some DCS stuff, so I might not get to it. Definitely though, Tuesday night expect to stream, and Wednesday during the day, and potentially Wednesday night. So we'll get some streaming going on. Holiday Ops is over, folks. Wrap it up. Put the low poly cat away. That's the cat's name from now on. I hope I can remember that for next year. I really do hope the low poly cat makes a comeback in Holiday Ops 2021. That's all I've got, folks. Have a great week. Miserable Monday tomorrow. Streams coming up. I've already said it. I'm just talking for no reason. Bye.